Plastic surgery has become increasingly common, but for some Black celebrities, it has resulted in heartbreaking consequences. In today's video, we take a closer look at the stories of 10 Black stars whose lives were severely impacted or even lost due to surgical complications. These cases serve as powerful reminders of the risks behind cosmetic enhancements. Do you think the risks sometimes outweigh the benefits? Comment 1 if you agree, or 0 if you disagree. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Now let's get started. Public discourse increasingly hinted that Marina Shaw's celebrated career was quietly challenged by the realities of aging as she moved into her 70s. Observers close to her noted a gradual change in perspective, fueling speculation that she began exploring aesthetic enhancements around 2015. What may have been intended as a way to maintain her prominence instead led to an outcome that unfolded in ways almost no one anticipated. Industry insiders started to speculate that cosmetic injections may have had unintended effects, leaving her expressions noticeably rigid. If her facial movement was truly limited, it might account for the gradual decline in the emotional range that once defined her performances. Online discussions frequently suggested that she avoided public appearances because she herself struggled to recognize the image reflected back at her. Some specialists proposed that the tightening of facial skin went beyond cosmetic concerns and may have interfered with her vocal control. Unconfirmed claims suggested that extreme tension in the soft tissue led to ongoing physical discomfort, turning singing into a strenuous task. From this perspective, the boundary between aesthetic enhancement and professional harm appeared to be obscured by emotionally driven decisions. After reports of her death in 2024 surfaced, public discussion shifted toward whether cosmetic procedures may have contributed to her worsening condition. If those interventions are interpreted as a chain of misjudgments that deepened emotional distress, her passing might be seen as a cautionary lesson. What's your take on this issue? Comment 1 if you agree, or 0 if you don't, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to keep supporting our content. Within the fan community, Wanda Young's name has long been linked to warmth and gentleness, yet some unofficial accounts imply she quietly struggled with doubts about her looks. If her decision to pursue surgery was meant to address both breathing concerns and cosmetic goals, what followed unfolded in an entirely unexpected way. Those close to the situation have speculated that what appeared to be a routine nose procedure may have marked the start of a long and unfortunate sequence of events. Public discussion grew as her repeated absences from public appearances fueled concerns about post-surgical complications, with some voices questioning the quality of follow-up care. If claims about internal scarring narrowing her airway held any truth, the iconic voice behind the Marvelettes could have suffered serious consequences. Various accounts suggested that breathing itself became an exhausting struggle marked by intense effort and persistent pain. Numerous theories emerged, suggesting that her long-term lifestyle and smoking may have interacted with surgical trauma, turning her sinus problems into a lasting condition. Some observers described a situation in which she endured nearly 2 decades of suffering as hopes of returning to the stage slowly disappeared amid constant coughing spells. In that light, the altered nose offered no renewed self-assurance, but instead became an obstacle that stood between her and her devotion to music. When the COVID-19 pandemic emerged, Wanda was reportedly considered highly vulnerable because of respiratory damage thought to stem from earlier surgical procedures. Her passing in 2021 sparked ongoing debate about medical accountability, and became a sobering reminder that the pursuit of beauty can sometimes carry grave consequences. Even now, whether that operation years earlier directly contributed to her final fate remains a question without a definitive answer. Danny Lee's situation sparked intense debate in Brazil, with divided views on the pressure to restore an ideal body after giving birth. Insider accounts indicated that undergoing several procedures simultaneously was a risky decision, allegedly encouraged by industry expectations. If her motivation to rebuild confidence for a return to the stage was genuine, it may have unintentionally led her into a highly perilous circumstance. Witnesses present reported that the procedure in January 2024 appeared to progress without issue at first, before her vital signs abruptly declined. If theories about a fat embolism are correct, it would represent a severe complication that is often difficult for physicians to manage. In response, public sentiment has grown increasingly skeptical about the clinic's safety standards and its ability to handle medical emergencies. Investigators have suggested that remaining under general anesthesia for an extended period while undergoing both liposuction and breast reduction may have placed an overwhelming strain on her body. In this view, the distinction between cosmetic change and medical catastrophe appears to have been clouded by risky decision-making. Some theories propose that had the procedures been separated into shorter staged operations, the result might not have been as tragic. The unexpected death of the 42-year-old celebrity sent shockwaves through the public and ignited widespread discussion about the ethics of the cosmetic industry across South America. Many view her passing as a harsh warning about the dangers of sacrificing health in the pursuit of physical perfection. While the full truth has yet to be uncovered, concerns over safety standards in the aesthetic field are growing more pressing than ever. What's your opinion on this? Leave a 1 if you agree or a 0 if you disagree, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support us. Donda West's death in 2007 triggered enduring debate about the risks of performing multiple cosmetic procedures on patients with pre-existing health issues. Certain accounts have implied that the desire to look vibrant beside her globally famous son may have influenced her decision to proceed with extensive surgery. If that motivation truly played a role, it ultimately set off a series of medical choices that were later sharply condemned by professionals. Early reports suggested that the prolonged operation involving several intricate procedures placed extreme strain on the cardiovascular system of a 58-year-old patient. Questions were widely raised about whether leaving the facility prematurely rather than remaining under medical observation allowed complications to go unnoticed. If claims of insufficient post-operative monitoring are accurate, it may have cost her the most critical opportunity for timely intervention. Among medical professionals, discussion continues over whether her abrupt breathing difficulties were linked to overly tight compression and poorly managed pre-existing conditions. If the reported findings of heart failure and pulmonary infection were correct, the convergence of post-surgical complications may have made recovery impossible. Numerous unofficial accounts have hinted at a degree of negligence on the part of both the patient and the healthcare providers. Her passing ultimately prompted the introduction of new legal measures, yet the grief and unresolved concerns surrounding medical negligence remain. Many observers regard the incident as a turning point that compelled society to reflect on the fragile boundary between cosmetic enhancement and personal safety. Even now, Donda West's story is frequently cited as a cautionary example underscoring the need for extreme care before undergoing any major surgical procedure. Mary Wells's death in 1992 has frequently been revisited by the public, raising lingering questions about a possible connection between nose surgery and respiratory problems. Certain accounts have claimed that a slowdown in her career motivated her to pursue cosmetic changes in hopes of reviving her signature image. If the goal was to reclaim self-assurance, what followed instead became a difficult period marked by worsening health. Unofficial accounts outlined a sequence of infections that quickly spread from the nasal region to the throat shortly after the procedure in Los Angeles was completed. Some close observers speculated that extended damage to soft tissue may have compromised her respiratory defenses, allowing severe conditions to take hold. If a connection truly existed between a failed operation and the lung cancer that followed it, represents a particularly heartbreaking turn of events. Numerous interpretations argue that long-term smoking combined with surgical after-effects ultimately damaged the voice that defined the Motown legend. From this viewpoint, the attempt to maintain a youthful appearance inadvertently resulted in lasting silence and ongoing suffering. Online audiences frequently cite this case as a stark illustration of how manufactured beauty can erase authentic artistic gifts. Her death at just 49 continues to raise troubling questions about whether a decision that appeared cosmetic and harmless could ultimately prove fatal. Over time, her experience has come to symbolize the heavy price that can come from chasing perfection at the expense of well-being. Whenever her songs are heard, listeners are often overwhelmed with sorrow as they recall the tragedy that cut her life short. Do you believe that the pursuit of ideal beauty can sometimes be dangerous? Leave a 1 if you agree, or a 0 if you disagree, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support us. The death of Nigeria's First Lady in Spain in 2005 escalated into an international medical controversy marked by accusations of professional negligence. According to some accounts, she opted for a private facility to maintain confidentiality, a choice that allegedly resulted in insufficient access to advanced emergency resources when complications developed. If discretion was the driving factor behind the trip, the cost of that secrecy ultimately proved devastatingly high. Investigative accounts have alluded to a possible technical mistake in which a critical internal organ was unintentionally injured during the liposuction. One proposed scenario suggests that had the damage been identified immediately rather than permitting her to return to the hotel to recover the result, might have been very different. In Nigeria, public anger surged over reports that she slipped into septic shock without receiving timely medical care. In this situation, apparent medical negligence transformed what was meant to be a routine act of self-renewal into a national disaster that drew global attention. Speculation has persisted over whether the initial medical findings were deliberately softened to minimize the clinic's accountability. The case stands as a stark reminder that status and influence offer no immunity from the inherent dangers of cosmetic surgery. Sanchoka's dramatic physical changes sparked conversation about the intense pressure social media influencers face to preserve a certain look. Some accounts claim that repeated filler injections at clinics with questionable oversight were driven by the need to lock in high-paying brand deals. If maintaining an hourglass silhouette was essential to her professional success, the cost ultimately appeared to be her long-term well-being. Specialists have speculated that the buildup of foreign substances in the soft tissue led to persistent infections and the development of hardened masses. If reports of severe pain with every step or even sitting down were accurate, then her fame came with a heavy physical toll. Numerous unofficial accounts suggest she endured repeated painful corrective procedures yet never achieved a full recovery. In this situation, the shine of Instagram reportedly turned into a snare that cost her enormous amounts of time, money, and emotional strength to overcome. Certain interpretations suggest that the lasting scars from repeated corrective surgeries profoundly reshaped her view of natural beauty. Her later revelations are often interpreted as an attempt to rediscover her true self after years spent pursuing unrealistic physical ideals. Her decision to speak openly in 2023 has been widely viewed as a brave move to caution younger audiences about the dangers of extreme cosmetic enhancement. Even now, Sanchoka's path to recovery continues to draw attention, highlighting that online beauty often masks a very different reality. Her experience stands as a reminder of the importance of self-worth in a digital era dominated by intense appearance-related pressure. Michael Jackson's death in 2009 is frequently interpreted as the result of a prolonged cycle involving cosmetic surgeries and reliance on prescription medication. Certain theories argue that deep-rooted childhood trauma fueled his fixation on altering his appearance, leaving him unable to break free from it. If each physical change was intended as a path toward inner calm, the outcome instead appeared to be mounting physical suffering. Insiders have questioned whether repeated nasal operations caused structural damage to his cartilage, resulting in serious breathing problems. If accounts linking his declining health to excessive cosmetic procedures are correct, this may have been the root of his reliance on strong sedatives. Many observers believe that the King of Pop's appearance in his later years stood as a visible reminder of the harm that failed aesthetic interventions can inflict. Investigators have pointed to the connection between chronic post-surgical pain and propofol dependence as a central element in understanding his sudden death. Certain theories argue that without the extent of cosmetic interventions, the medical care surrounding him might not have escalated to such dangerous levels. What truly occurred in Michael's bedroom that night continues to be explored through a range of grim and unresolved possibilities. His death stands as a haunting reminder that even the most legendary figures can be undone by an obsession with flawlessness. Michael's ever-evolving appearance continues to prompt reflection on how far humans can push against nature before facing irreversible consequences. Do you believe that chasing perfection can come at a serious cost? Leave a 1 if you agree or a 0 if you disagree, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support us. Vivica A. Fox was once celebrated as a dominant presence on screen, yet some narratives claim that Hollywood's fear of aging steered her toward heavy reliance on cosmetic enhancements. If reports about excessive use of Botox and fillers leading to a more rigid appearance hold any weight, it may have unintentionally limited her expressive range. Those close to the industry have suggested this marked an unfortunate compromise, where authenticity and natural appeal were exchanged for a more manufactured look. Reports from various film sets allegedly pointed to her struggle to convey genuine emotion on screen. Some critics have argued that this shift in appearance discouraged directors from offering roles, contributing to a slow decline in significant opportunities. In that sense, the so-called plastic mask failed to create a more youthful image and instead became an obstacle blocking further career growth. Magazine commentary has frequently focused on the idea that her distinctive identity was sacrificed for an expressionless, inflexible look. One interpretation suggests that intense competition with younger performers pushed her toward ill-advised cosmetic choices. Many argue that embracing a more natural aging process might have helped her maintain a stronger and more enduring presence in Hollywood. Viveka's acknowledgement in 2021 that she had taken things too far is often seen as a belated admission of the cost of trying to outrun aging. Her experience highlights the unforgiving nature of Hollywood, where the chase for youth can strip individuals of their defining qualities. Even now, her appearance continues to fuel debate about ethics and the intense beauty expectations embedded in the entertainment industry. Thank you for watching today's video. If you found this story engaging or informative, be sure to like and share it, so others can find it too. Don't forget to subscribe to support our channel and stay updated on our upcoming content. We truly appreciate your support and are committed to delivering even better videos ahead. See you next time.